Now, I do have a few questions about next year. One, do you have any your non-conference games planned out for next year? I know usually that stuff's planned out in advance. So I was curious if there's any interesting teams that your team will play next year from a non-conference perspective.
Um, I haven't really gotten the chance to look at that yet, but I'm sure we will. We always have fun games. I know we're going to be probably out in New York for about a week. I know we're playing out there, so we'll get another flight trip, which will be fun.
That's cool. Is it? I'm assuming it's not the city. It's like Cornell or someone like that, right?
Yeah, I think it's like Syracuse or Cornell or something like that. I'm not positive on that.
Those should be two really good games. Obviously, with Syracuse winning the CHA and then Cornell, I feel like Cornell is always a good team, no matter what year it is. So that should be a fun game regardless.
Yeah, it's a team out there. I wish I knew that, but yeah.
hmm No Boston trip though, for because I was looking forward to seeing your team play, like I said, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. So, or you're
Yeah,
not sure yet about that
I'm
yet.
not sure. I feel like we'll probably be going out there. We usually do, so I'm sure we will be. Yep.
Maybe that would be. I know it would be a cool game. Would be Northeastern, like in
Yeah.
Matthews, just because you've played them so many times in the Frozen Four. Might as well try to make that like a regular staple game throughout the regular
Yeah,
season.
that'd be awesome.
What are some like the main differences you notice between the WCHA versus like other conferences when you play them in non-conference games?
I think a big thing is the physicality of the games. Our WCHA games are like tough games. There's a lot of hits. There's a lot of tough play. I think that was one of the biggest differences for us, especially.
So is it not less hitting or more hitting in those games?
The WCHA is definitely more hitting, a lot tougher. We get away with a lot more physicality. The refing, they let us get away with some pretty tough hits and aggressive play.
So like that must be an interesting mindset to have because I think one thing in men's hockey that I noticed is when like a league's quote unquote more tougher, you could still be sort of physical in those non-conference games just because hitting's allowed. However, for you guys, it's a little bit different with hitting not being allowed. How do you like try to adjust your mindset with those different types of refereeing in those games?
Yeah, I think we go in expecting to get a lot more calls, but we just have to make sure that we stay level headed and don't get too frustrated with it because it could take us out of our game if we are worried too much on, oh, that wasn't that hard of a hit. Oh, that was this. So that was a big thing for us is just staying level headed and trying to play physical, but not cheap.
Yeah. What's the biggest hit that you've ever? I feel like I've asked you this before, but I'm curious if it's updated yet since we've haven't had you on in a few years. So,
Yeah.
what's like the biggest hit that you've ever given someone in a game?
Oh, I don't even know. I try not to hit too much because I am a smaller player, but I've had a couple checking penalties. Nothing too crazy though.
Has there ever been a check that you've received? Because no one talks about that part of it, like the receiving part of the checks. Have you ever received a big check before?
Oh yeah, this year against Harvard, I got lit up pretty good.
How do you like handle that? That's tough. You
Yeah,
just have to get up and move
I
on.
try to just bounce right back up and act like it never happened.
That's what you gotta do. But yeah, no, it's never easy to take one. But it's I feel like it makes you a tough player. So I respect you a lot for that. So tip my cap
Thank
for
you.
you, especially since it was against Harvard too. Like you're talking about like how you try to avoid those big checks in those non-conference games. So I guess maybe the EC
Yeah,
is a little bit different.
yeah,
So we're now in a segment I like to call the non-hockey segment, where I ask you some non-hockey questions. Now, Taylor, we've had you on twice, so it's a little harder to find these non-hockey questions just because I don't want to
yeah,
repeat any from the last two interviews. So I try to find some interesting questions, and I
yeah.
came up with some of my own. So I hope you find these interesting like I do. So first one is, what is the most overrated holiday, and what is the most underrated holiday?
Oh boy.
And if you need
Um,
to answer any of these, so you can think about your answer, feel free to let me know.
um, I would say the most underrated is probably Easter. I don't know. I feel like it just goes by so quickly, and I'm always only home for a day for Easter this year, whereas like for Christmas you're home for 2 weeks leading up to it. But yeah, Easter seems like it flies by.
Yeah,
And
that,
then yeah, and overrated. Oh, I don't know. I can't really think of one that's overrated. I
uh,
like all of them. I think they're all great.
I could think of a few that are overrated. One, Valentine's Day, very
Yeah,
overrated. Just because like I feel like I find it overrated because the way people celebrate Valentine's Day is too much for me. Like maybe it's just me, but I would try to like keep it more private. But I feel like people just post everything that they do for Valentine's Day out there, and I just rather not see it. So that's obviously tough for yours truly. So I think Valentine's Day is a bit over. Plus, there should be a holiday for like your partner. It should be like something that you should do every day, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So
yeah,
that's why I find it a bit overrated. I don't know how you feel about it.
that's a great point. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's a good one.
And then for me, the most underrated one's the 4th of July. I just like it because it's like summertime, barbecue, fireworks, America. Like it doesn't get any better than that. And I feel like no one talks about how great of a holiday 4th of July is. So I would
Yeah,
say
I
that's
love
my
4th of July.
most underrated one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I love 4th of July too.
What is the most embarrassing moment you've ever had? It could be on the ice, it could be off the ice. I'm just curious. What's something that you can think of? And like I
Oh,
said, if you need help thinking of something, I can answer it for you. I will answer it eventually, but I can answer it first. I try to let you answer
yeah.
it first.
One I can probably think of is I was out east at a tournament and we were doing off ice warm ups and we were doing like karaoke and side shuffles and we were up on top of the by the railings, like the top of the rink, and there was another game going on. So there's fans in the crowd and we were going behind them and one of my shoelaces came untied while I was doing the karaoke and I actually stepped on it and just completely face planted and everyone just turned around and my whole team was laughing.
Yeah, I think my most embarrassing moment was someone left the bench door open in a hockey game. It was during a practice, and I fell inside it because I was skating backwards and I wasn't paying attention. So
Oh my
that was
god.
that was tough, but luckily I wasn't hurt from that. It was just something that I think about a lot when I'm up at night. So
Yeah.
now, what is one thing as a kid that you still do today, or what is one thing that you did as a kid that you still do today? Is I guess trying the way I try to say it.
Huh. Gonna have to think on this one.
Well, I'll start off. I would say for me, it's drinking chocolate milk. I drank it like as a 6-year-old, and I still drink so much chocolate milk today. That's like my main form of like fluids, like it's water and chocolate milk. So that's my type of thing. I love it.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. I would say food wise, if I go off kind of what you did, probably um donuts. I've loved donuts since I was little and I still love eating donuts today, or even cinnamon rolls. They've been my favorite food for the longest time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't had a cinnamon roll in quite some time, but probably because it's not the healthiest, but I still like to. That's a good cheat meal for me.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, what's your favorite donut spot? I don't know. Do you guys have Dunkin' Donuts out there in the Midwest?
We have Dunkin', yeah, but my favorite is Krispy Kreme, and we don't have Krispy Kreme donuts here in Minnesota anymore. So whenever we're on the road, I know last year in Erie we had one right across the street from us. So I may or may not have had a lot of those before the game, but
Yeah.
those
Uh, they
those are
I
my favorite.
I went there one time to visit my grandmother back when she lived in Maryland, and it was great because they had make it in front of you. And I remember how much I loved it, but I haven't
Yeah,
had one like in 12 years at least. It's been a long time, so I don't know. Like I need to go try it again, but there's not that many out there anymore. I feel like they're kind of closing down.
yeah.
Now, if you could have any superpower, which one would you choose? So the question I wanted to ask you was, if you could have any superpower, which one would you choose?
Mm, probably to be invisible.
What would you do with that? I'm curious.
Um,
Would you like try
I
to
don't know.
listen into some conversations that you shouldn't listen into?
Yeah, maybe do that, or I don't know, sneak around, scare people.
I think for me, I would do super speed just because like I can get stuff done more quickly, and that's why I would choose it, just so I can get everything done in like an hour or less than that, and then I can just relax for the rest of the day.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Now, have you ever met anyone famous before?
Um, yes, I've met like Hunter Hayes when I was little. I used to be a big fan of his country music. I met him And then I also met Joe Mauer and Justin Morneau on the Twins. I when I received one of my awards in high school, through um, it was through Fox North Sports, and they were actually there commentating the awards. So they actually gave me the award, and we were at dinner with them. So that was super cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't met anyone like too famous, like maybe not like a Hollywood actor, but I've had the chance to meet some hockey players before, and probably the most notable one was Brad Marchand from the Bruins. That was pretty cool. And then I also met Tyler Seguin as well back when he played for the Bruins. So those were two really cool people I got to meet. So, and
Yeah,
obviously
that's
they ended up
cool.
winning the cup for the Bruins back in 2011. So that was really fun. So that's probably the two most famous people that I've ever met.
That's cool.
Now, obviously, I wanted to ask you this since you've been to two Frozen Fours. Where would you like to see Frozen Four in the future? But you don't get to play in it; you just have to watch. That's the one caveat to the question.
I would say somewhere warm, like Florida, even though like hockey might not be as big, but like Florida or Arizona, so that you can go watch hockey and then go to the beach after.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but Tampa Bay is hosting the men's Frozen Four next year, so maybe you have the opportunity to do that in 2023, especially if Duluth gets there as well.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That would
So
be so much fun.
I'm biased. I'd say probably Boston. I wish the women's Frozen Four was going to be in Boston. I feel like it was going to be, but then it got canceled, and I don't know why they haven't like rescheduled it here because I think it would be super fun, especially since I got to go to the one this year for the men's Frozen Four. It was pretty fun, and obviously got the shirt, which
Nice.
I don't know if you had got the chance to have a Frozen Four shirt in the women's one, or if you just didn't want it just because of the unfortunate loss, but. It was a really
Yeah,
fun experience. So I don't know. That's where I would choose for mine.
yeah, that's cool.
Now, getting back to some hockey questions. First one was, what are some things you took away from your interview when we had you on last year? I think it's actually been a while. I thought it was a lot shorter than that, but time flies, I guess.
Yeah, it seems like it was recent that we had that. But yeah, some things I took away is just um learning how to talk during podcasts and interviews. I think it's really helped me during like post game interviews as well. And so I think that's really helped me like after games and doing some of those big press conferences after the Frozen Four and the national championship.
Yeah, I saw you getting interviewed by a few of those big media things, and I was
Yeah.
like, I felt special because I was like, I had the chance to interview you first, so
Yep.
that's the one thing that ESPN can't say that I can. So I thought that
Yeah.
was really cool. So congratulations, you did a great job, though. So you always
Thank
do
you.
a great job. I feel like you're too hard on yourself with that.
Thank you.
Now, obviously, you had the chance to do a daily vlog with us as well, and I wanted to say thank you for doing that on the podcast. I thought that was really fun. What were your thoughts on doing that daily vlog? I thought that was really cool to see kind of behind the scenes of what it's like being a player on your team.
Yeah, I think it's super fun, especially for everyone involved in it and just getting to videotape us. And it's cool to kind of show other people what we do on a day to day basis because I'm sure a lot of people are curious about it. And there's so much that goes into a game that people might not realize. So it's cool that they get to see that.
Yeah, especially the ice bath thing. I didn't really think about that too much.
Oh,
What's like the benefit for those after? Like, what if you don't do it? Like, will it affect you at all?
well, it affects everyone a little bit differently. Everyone likes to do different things. Some people like to bike, some people like to roll out or do the Normatex, but I think I found that I just really like the feeling, refreshing feeling of going in the cold tub.
So I don't know if I could do that just because I would be too sensitive to it. So because I've
Yeah,
never
it's
done it
tough.
before, so that'll be the tough part. But maybe you have to get used to it after a few tries.
Yeah. You definitely get used to it after a while.
But my favorite part of the video was like the whole pregame outfit, like how that works out, and how you always go with someone. I've noticed that like you're never by yourself when you go. It's always with someone. Is that like do you like doing it with other people, or do you like ever try to do it by yourself one time?
No, yeah. Well, I live with a bunch of girls on the team, so we always end up leaving for the rink together.
So no, I just wanted to give you a shout for that. I thought that was pretty cool. And obviously,
Yeah.
you were featured once for the College Hockey Talk pregame outfits of the week thing. So shout out to you for that. I thought that was pretty cool. It was a little disappointing that you didn't get considered for the final nominations for the winner for the year round thing, but there's
Yeah.
always next year, and I feel like you're gonna show off some pretty cool stuff for your fifth year. You have to. It's your
Yeah,
last
for
time.
sure. Yeah, I'll come in with something strong next year.
No, for academics, I'm curious. How does it work? Like, do you just do like a grad class, or is it like I don't know how that works. I'm just curious, like how
Yeah,
it
so
works academically.
I graduated this Saturday with my undergrad, and then next year I'll be doing a 1 year master's program.
Nice. First of all, congratulations on graduation. What was like your major?
I was a double major in finance and sales.
So is that what you want to do after school? Is like going to that field? I assume.
Yeah, especially sales. I really like sales a lot.
I feel like that I feel like sales would be tough just because, selling you have to learn how to communicate with people, but also like try to sell them some things. But you want
Yeah.
to seem like a normal person because I feel like a lot of salespeople sometimes come off as they're not being too genuine. So I think that's probably the toughest part to learn from that field.
Yeah, trying to connect with people and seeing what gets the sale done is definitely something you learn throughout your years in sales.
Have you ever sold something yet, or you wait until after school for that?
I'm waiting till after school.
So I think you will sell something pretty soon though coming up. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with that. But normally what
Thank
we
you.
do is we do shout outs at the end of every interview. But since you've been on twice, I'm assuming you've shouted out everyone you want to shout out. But if there's someone you might have forgotten about in the last two interviews, feel free to give them a shout out.
Yeah, just shout out to my team and my parents always. Yep.
Anything else you'd like to talk about? The floor is all yours. You can talk about whatever you want for the last minute of this. It won't bother me at all.
Oh, I don't know. I think you've hit a lot of the points, a lot of good non-hockey questions too. Those were fun.
Well, thank you again, Taylor, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate your time. It always means so much to myself. I admire you a lot as a player, but you're also an even better person as well. So I just want to tell you that. But I really do appreciate the daily vlog that you did for us. It was awesome. And I really appreciate you kind of taking us behind the scenes of what that was like. So I want to say thank you for that. But you're my favorite player on the Minnesota Duluth women's hockey team, so I want to let you know that as well. And it's been fun getting the chance to talk to you for the third time, and hopefully maybe one more time after your fifth year. That would be
Yeah.
pretty fun. So, but thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Keep killing it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me again. It's always so much fun doing